Everyone wants big arms, that's just a fact, but when you try to get big arms, your main focus is usually biceps, right? And I mean, there is nothing wrong with that, because you simply can't have big arms without a juicy biceps. And you already know that I love the barbell curl, and that it's super effective for getting big biceps. But what you have to realize is that biceps is not the biggest part of your arm, triceps is. There is simply nothing more impressive than the gigantic triceps popping out. But to achieve that, you need to get your tricep training back on track and focus on all the heads of the triceps. But one head of the triceps deserves your attention in particular. And that's exactly what I want to talk about in this video. What I think is the most important head of the triceps that you should focus on is the long head. Simply because this is the part of the triceps that people neglect the most. Having a big long head of the triceps will guarantee your tricep will look massive from the back and help you finally fill out that t-shirt. Yeah, I get it. When it's mostly visible from the back, you might not have been paying attention to it. Because when you flex in the mirror, you put all your focus on the lateral head, because that's just the first thing you see. So there is probably a 50-50 chance that you are not training the long head of the triceps. And to be completely honest, that's a big mistake. And I don't mean it like, ooh, big mistake, spooky. I'm not here to scare you, because that does not lead anywhere. Instead, I would like you to realize how big of a difference it will make. As I said, it will make your tricep look super sick from the backside. But also take the pose like the front double biceps, for example. When you look at it, you see a nice big biceps, that's cool. But when you look at the bottom part of the arm, what do you see? It's the long head of the triceps. Look how much of a difference it makes when you compare big long head of the triceps to a mediocre one. It's absolutely insane. It quite literally looks like another biceps, just growing from the other direction. So how come biceps is something that everyone obsesses about, but long head of the triceps is not? And if you expected me to answer this question, well, I don't know. I guess it's because the long head of the triceps is way less talked about than biceps. And it just gets lost under the hood of training triceps as a whole. You know, you get prescribed the just do pushdowns medicine, but that will leave you lacking a lot. It's absolutely vital that you incorporate some kind of tricep exercise that really focuses on the long head. And it absolutely doesn't matter if you have access to a fully equipped gym, just a small home gym, or even just dumbbells. And it's even doable with no equipment whatsoever. If you have the cable machine available, you can try exercises like the overhead cable extension or the one arm cable extension. If you feel like it feels better if you can just focus on one arm at a time. And even if you got just dumbbells or an easy bar, you can try exercises like the skull crusher or the dumbbell overhead tricep extension. And as I said, even if you have no equipment at all, you can still put water bottles or something into a backpack and hit your long head that way. So there are absolutely zero excuses. All the exercises I just showed you have one thing in common. Did you notice what it was? Exactly, all of the exercises were overhead exercises. That's because the long head gets stretched the most when your arms are overhead, so it's the perfect fit. So some type of overhead extension is a must in any type of training plan. And speaking of training plans, you should definitely check out my training plans that offer a wide variety of exercises to choose from, while still keeping it super simple to understand and follow. So you don't have to be afraid that you would ever miss out on something as important as the long head of the triceps, because these training plans are constructed with all the most important movement patterns included, so that you are completely covered. If that sounds good, check the first link in the description. The long head of the triceps is a lot like the rear delts, just completely forgotten by a lot of people. But growing these muscles will make such a big change in your physique that you can't even imagine it. So please, if you are not doing some type of overhead exercise for the long head of the triceps, please find a way to add it into your routine. I 100% guarantee you that it will be worth it. So now you know what you should do in your next workout. I hope that you learned something, and I will see you next time. Well, if you didn't know that the long head of the triceps was important, you should also check out this video about rear delts, because it's also incredibly important. So come on with me and let's make things right.